Hey, what's up, everybody? Jesse here from Metalhead Alliance, and I am talking to Raven Chain, the frontman for the Florida-based shock rock band Sister Kill Cycle. Thanks so much for joining me today, Raven.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for having me.
Great, great. So, how you guys been lately?
We've been great. Busy, staying very busy
Good,
right now.
good,
Getting everything put together for a new record and
excellent.
new members in the band. So getting everything up to speed. It's just been hectic and busy, but I can't do anything else. I
Definitely,
have to stay busy.
definitely. Well, we're definitely gonna pick your brain a little bit about all of those things. First of
All
all,
right.
as I said in the intro here, you guys are based out of Florida. The Tampa area, I believe, is where you technically call home base, right?
Yeah, that is correct. Right outside of Tampa.
Right outside of Tampa. Cool, cool. But you yourself are originally from West Virginia, I believe.
Well, technically,
Technically.
I was born in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Gotcha.
My family's military, so I
Okay.
ended up all over the place.
Gotcha.
West Virginia just being one of those that we were at for a little bit, and ended up going back to gravitating back there just because a family lives there. So I spent a lot of my younger years and teen years growing up in the coal mines and the mountains.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot different environment from Tampa or Daytona Beach, even.
Yeah, it definitely is. Especially, back in the time, when I was a teen, in that area, there was nothing at all like what we are, or this kind of alternative lifestyle that
Mm-hmm.
is so commonplace nowadays.
Sure.
Back then, if you had long hair, you were automatically gay.
Right, right. Yeah. Kind of an outcast, looked down
Oh,
upon generally.
totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably one of the only kids in a 50 square mile radius that went to school wearing bright red lipstick and razor blades in his dreadlocks.
So that's interesting. I mean, what kind of led you in that direction at such a young age? Did you have close family or friends that kind of influenced you in that direction, or was that just how you express yourself? And
Well, a lot of my family are musicians, but they're gospel. So I
hmm,
basically grew up under complete Baptist watch, and they all did gospel and sang gospel, played gospel music. I was actually supposed to be brought up to be a preacher,
oh
Baptist
wow,
preacher, but
hmm,
unfortunately that didn't work. When I was 11 years old, I saw Alice Cooper for the first time.
uh-huh,
A friend of mine's stepfather was kind of like an old hippie from back in the 60s, and
hmm,
had every vinyl album that you could think of. I mean, Iron Butterfly, Floyd,
nice,
Sabbath, all this stuff.
yeah,
So he put on this cat named Alice Cooper,
mm-hmm,
and I was blown away. I mean, I'd already heard of Jimi Hendrix, and I love what Jimi Hendrix did with his guitar, and mostly the sounds,
yeah,
not really the playing, but just what he did sonically.
sure,
But then I saw Alice Cooper and the Alice Cooper band, and the image that went along with the music. I was like, that is exactly what I want to do with the rest of my life. That's
nice,
what I want to be.
wow. So at 11 years old, this persona, uh, this alter ego, if you will, kind of was born, I guess you could say. Um,
Yeah,
and it carried on into
yeah.
now the current now. Now people that have seen you guys from either your social media or that are familiar with the band over the years, because the band is Sister Kill Cycle has been around since like what 2000, I think.
2000. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, you guys have had quite a long run, and you kind of have this very very. I mean, if people at a glance would mistake you for Marilyn Manson, which I'm sure you hear a lot
Yeah,
of the
you
times.
might as well go ahead and say it. It's no beats around the bush. It's
Right.
an everyday thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, anybody that sees me and him, it has been one of those things that doing very similar music
Yeah.
I've got a lot of flack because obviously whoever gets signed first is the original, you know.
Oh, sure, sure. Well,
And be it as it may, luck struck him first, and you know, from then on, I've been kind of living in his shadow, so to speak.
right. Well,
But you know, I mean, I can't really say anything about it. Him being a bigger brother and all, you know.
you got to the victors belong the spoils, I guess, right? But you
Yeah,
know, you
yeah.
definitely pull the look off great, and it's an obvious influence in your appearance and stuff. You've mentioned Alice Cooper, of course, as being a very influential uh, point, you know, person or figure in your life. How about anybody else that stands out for you in terms of influences, whether in your career, musically and otherwise?
There's so many. I mean, I just appreciate and respect musicians and artists in general so much. I would have to say someone else that really influenced me as far as personality, musically, and just attitude would be Johnny Cash, of course.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, of course, I grew up, you know, when Metallica came out. I loved Metallica, Megadeth.
Mm,
You know, I was into, you know, the hard metal back in the day.
sure.
But for some reason, when everybody was like still stuck on that, when the Metallica, uh, the one video came out,
Mm,
I sort of veered towards something darker. So I think my Alice Cooper theatrical influence came back out, and I started discovering a lot more industrial bands. So
right. Right.
I kind of went to that route.
Sure. Yeah, and I definitely feel the vibe in the band has definitely carried on that legacy, so to speak. Um, you know, talking about a little earlier when we first started the interview, you know, you were mentioning about the lineup changes, which since the band's inception, all those years ago, it seems like there's been quite a few lineup changes, and you guys have now just recently took back to performing live again, right, with your current lineup. Is that right?
Right, yeah. After about a year, actually not about a year, actually after a year off.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, I mean,
That's
things
fantastic.
it just got to the point that we had toured so much. As a matter of fact, I think it was one of the last tours we're hanging out with you on.
Yeah, Nashville.
We
Yeah.
got back home and the band basically imploded. I mean,
Mm,
everybody had enough of each other. Everybody had enough of touring. Um, you know,
mm-hmm.
you don't make any money out there. Anybody that knows touring artists know that. I mean, you're living day to day on like $10. So
Yeah, it's rough.
it starts to grate on your nerves. And we got back home and did like our last show back home, and that was it. Everybody just kind of walked away, and
Gotcha.
some of us didn't speak to each other for like a good 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of reached that point, that breaking point. Now, do you feel like with everything that has happened up to this point and with the current lineup, do you think that this has been something that has strengthened the band overall?
Well, it has strengthened me, and
Mm,
you
mm-hmm.
know, as anybody would know, I've always been the core of the band, regardless of who has come and gone
Yeah.
in the lineups. Um, I guess I'm just too stubborn to let it die.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Because I mean, this is me. This is who I am. This is how I live my life. It's not too different from the guy you see on stage, from
Mm-hmm.
the guy that sits at home having dinner.
Yeah.
It's just it's in my life, and I'll probably be doing this as long as I can. 70 years old, if I'm still able to do it, I probably will be.
Right. It's in your blood.
Yeah, exactly. It is, and I've got very fortunate and luck on my side that the memory. It seems like the band always evolves into a better band after something crashes and burns.
Uh-huh.
So now I've actually got two members in the band that are they're pro season. They've been out there. Chuck Chase Linehan has played for so many bands. He's one of the original founding members of the Crumbsuckers, a New York-based hardcore band.
Sure.
He was the guitar player for Genitortures for several years. And then I've got James Greer, who
phenomenal. I had no idea that you had that kind of that kind of heavy artillery, so to speak, gunning with you guys. So that's fantastic to hear. Um,
Yeah, this new lineup is definitely going to be something special, and we're busting our ass right now to put it together so we can bring it all out there to everybody.
Excellent, man. That's great to hear. Um, so your guys, the band's last album was released in 2015, Almost Human.
Yeah,
It came out through, as I understand it, was like either your own label or the band's own Negative Image Entertainment. Um,
yeah, that's my label,
okay.
and we basically did it so we could get out of uh, get out of the whole entire industry. I mean, we got tired of having someone tell us what to do,
Hmm.
how to write our music
Hmm.
and all that stuff. So I just wanted to do everything ourselves.
Gotcha. So gotcha. That so. And then any plans with your next album? Is it going to kind of be like the same thing? You know, a self-release through your own label? Is that
Yeah,
the plan? You
yeah.
think?
At this point, we've kicked around the idea of maybe an indie label, but we've pretty much just decided we're gonna do it ourselves.
A lot of bands are doing that these days. I noticed. And I think when done right, you know, when you have the right kind of people in the band and everything, that works just as well as having, you know, an outsider perspective. So you guys are it's your project, and who knows it better than you guys, you know. So I
Exactly, and when you have the ability to release a record and have distro and all that, you really don't need a label. I mean, all a label's pretty much good for is being a bank, giving you money.
yeah,
But you never make money. They always get it back three times
yeah,
what they give you.
sure. Any projection yet on a release date for a new album?
We are hoping for some time to do a witchy October release. I'm not sure
Mm,
if the record will be completely done by the end of release, but at
yeah,
least a single and a video.
very cool. And that was going to be my next question too, because you know, we see a lot of different kinds of album release approaches from different bands. You know, some bands will record albums every year or two. You guys have taken an approach. You have three studio albums out, right? And
Right.
they've
And in
been
15 years.
in a 15-year time span. So what made you decide to take this approach? Has it been a conscious thing to follow that pattern, or has it just kind of been like that's just how the dice rolls?
It's, it's, we write music. It's hard to write music the way we do because
Mhm.
we write it about what goes on in our lives. And people around us, we kind of reflect off of them.
Yeah.
So everything is like real life experiences. If we wanted to sit down and write a 10-song record and just put it together, by the dots,
Hmm.
we could do that. But pretty much everything revolves around what we're going through at the time in our lives. Mainly me. I'm constantly up and down and dealing with
Yeah.
insanity in my life. So when I finally collect myself enough to stay out of the mental institution, I'll sit down and start writing.
Gotcha. I feel like that's I think a lot of people can. That's very relatable to a lot of us. It doesn't feel like a forced effort on a band's part to just obligatory, like an obligatory type of thing. Like, oh, here we go again. It's 18 months down the road, and we got to spit out another album. It's if that's what motivates you, great. But I feel like what you guys are, and you specifically, as you say, the life roller coasters that we all kind of ride. I think
Yeah.
that really hits home for a lot of people. So it probably makes it very relatable, and a lot of people would be on board with that. So it's very
Yeah, and again, that's another reason why we decided to stay away from the label route because labels will pressure you with timelines and deadlines,
yeah.
and I feel sometimes pressure is good for certain people,
Hmm.
but I feel if something is pushed, it's not completely genuine.
Yeah, I
And
back you with that. Yeah.
at that point, then you're out there. If you can't relate to your own music, you can't sell your own music. When you get on stage, if you're not into your music and love it like a part of
Yeah,
And that's one thing that this band does project when we're on stage. The fans can see that this is our music, this is our lives, and that's to me kind of more important than the quality of releasing records is going out there and being an entertainer for these people.
sure. That's a great mindset, you know, because we everybody kind of feeds off of each other's vibes when it comes to live shows, you know. Um, Definitely back you on that. What about you have any like bucket list locations that you'd like to see Sister Kill Cycle play a live show? Like something that maybe
Um,
just stands out among other. I mean, everybody always wants to. Oh, I'd love to go on tour. I'd love to go to Europe. Is there just like one place in particular that you're like, man, if we could just get there?
I would honestly, I would like to play in Berlin, Germany.
Nice.
Um, we have, you know, of course, we have toured America so much. I mean, there's not a state we haven't played in. I don't think maybe Montana
Mm-hmm.
in the U.S. Um, but for some reason, we've never left the states. Maybe we haven't had the opportunity, or whatever's happened. We just haven't.
Yeah.
But I would, one of my dream locations would be go play Berlin.
Nice. I would love to visit. I would love to visit Europe in general, but Germany has always been uh, one of those places where I'd love to see before I kick the can, you know, so to speak. So,
Yeah, definitely.
what about?
Definitely. There's so much history there, and so much, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just
Yeah.
culture that happened through the world.
Yep.
You know, World War One, World War Two,
Oh
and
yeah.
everything that we went through, and to go over there as an American band and play. You know, I
Sure.
related to, you know, Rammstein coming over here and playing in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something along those lines. Yeah, definitely. Being as you guys have, as you just said, you know, toured so much in the states. Um, what stands out, you know, for the band's career? Some you know show highlights or a tour highlight that you'd like to share with us?
Um, Again, I mean, for us, every show kind of is like its own baby. I mean,
Hmm.
there's been good shows, there's been bad shows, but every single one has their own little moments and memories. That's one thing about the life I don't take for granted. I really cherish is the fact that I've had so many memories and met so many people that I fell in love with and just had a great time and shared my life with and got a chance to share a piece of their life.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, of course, one of the highlights I would have to say is playing the whiskey in Los Angeles, California.
Oh yeah, Whiskey a Go Go.
Everybody came out playing the whiskey a go go,
Yep. Yep.
and you know, we actually got invited to go play the whiskey, and
Wow.
after playing, got invited to come back because they enjoyed it so much. And this was before we had a record deal, so
Wow.
that would probably be like one of my fondest moments of like just location.
Sure. Yeah. That's I've never been there. I mean, I've been all over the country myself for other things, and I would have to say that if I could ever, you know, make a spot, you know, some one of the other places I wish I could have gotten to see a live show at would have been like, you know, CBGB's, you know, before they shut that place down. So hopefully I get to make it
Yeah,
out to LA and catch a show at
yeah, we
Whiskey.
actually played Stevie's before they shut
Did
down.
you really? You
Yeah,
remember? Do you remember who you
it
played
was
with?
who was with us.
Yeah. Do you remember who you played
Yeah,
with?
no, I don't remember who was with us. It was actually technically not Sister Kill Cycle. It was the band previous to Sister Kill Cycle, but it type now is
Right.
still the
Yeah.
same band. We
Right.
just evolved and changed names, but it was Daisy's Chain, and
Gotcha.
it was a big punk fest. We
Nice.
were having, I think there was like 15 bands going on, and if you know anything about CBGB's, it's not that big of a venue.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just basically a hallway
Yep.
with a stage at the end of it.
Yep. Wow, that's iconic too, man. I mean, just from hearing you say that, that to me stands out as a pretty, you know, you guys have been around long enough to have gotten the chance to play at probably one of the country's most iconic dive music venues, you know. So that's pretty cool. I'm
Yeah,
actually
I
wearing right
mean,
now. I'm wearing a CBGB shirt. So
it was amazing. I mean, just for the name of itself, and again, what came from there.
Wow.
Um, but again, we could go on for hours with tour stories and
Sure.
locations.
That's pretty cool though, man. At least you got those stories, and that's something that you'll never lose. Regardless of what happens, you've always got that. We're gonna break
Yeah.
off subject just a little bit with some comparison questions. These are just kind of a fun thing. Um, there's no right or wrong answer, nothing to pick your brain, but it's kind of a little bit of music theme, a little bit of horror theme, so I think it'll fit right
Okay.
in. So first of all, vampires or zombies?
Vampires.
Vampires, cool. All right. Michael Myers, John Carpenter's Michael Myers or Rob Zombie's?
Oh man. Wow. I would have to say, and just because of I think how he got the story right, Rob Zombie.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty epic when I first saw that. I was like, wow, when you get like revisited classic movies and stuff like that, they either to me it's like it's a crapshoot. You can it's either gonna bomb or it's gonna you know suck.
It's one of the few that
Yeah,
I think actually was done as good, if not better, than the original series. And again, simply because Rob went so in depth
yeah,
with the back line and brought out, how I don't know if I can swear or not, but how messed up the
yeah,
family was, which caused Michael to go through. I think
yes,
that's so relatable, especially in today's society.
yes.
How many people, are growing up in trailer parks with no money and
Hmm.
live in the same environments.
Yep. Yeah, I'm totally with you on there. What about old school metal or new and modern up and coming bands? Where do you tend to lean towards in terms of metal and music? So,
If it's actually metal, I would have to say old school for sure.
yeah.
I can respect what's going on nowadays,
Hmm.
but I just can't do the non-intelligible lyrics. If I can't
Yeah.
understand what you're screaming, I
Right.
don't care that you're screaming, but if I can't understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
you could be spouting off the most beautiful thing anybody's ever heard, but if you can't understand it, it doesn't have a point.
Right. 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 And it's interesting because with everything that we do here at MHA, we get a lot of exposure to newer bands that in the underground scene, and I've noticed that there is actually quite a revival of this old psychedelic kind of doomy rock coming back, man. Um,
Yeah,
you
I've
know,
seen that as well.
and I love it.
I think it's going on nationally, not just located Nashville
No,
and in
exactly.
certain areas. I think so much of this, what they call it, djent. That's
Yeah,
the sound you make when you hit the guitar strings or
yeah.
whatever. I think so much of this has come out that it's ran its course. People want to hear
Hmm.
real music again.
Yeah, yep. And
Not
it,
that that's not real music. I mean, obviously it's an art form. It's a form of expression, but I mean, industrial kind of died out too, and now you get like 20 out of 100 who listen to industrial music because it's
yeah,
repetitive beats and noises.
right, right, right. Yeah, and I'm just glad to see that the things that I grew up listening to, and the things that my parents even grew up listening to, and you know that the appreciation for that is being brought around to the newer generation because a lot of the kids these days may not go back and listen to bands like Coven or Blue Oyster Cult or Blue
Or
Earth,
Venom.
or Venom, or some, yeah, like some of these old school classic bands that they only want to listen to the new stuff, and there's bands out there that are doing that while paying homage to the classics and the people that laid those
Yeah,
foundations. You know,
I can totally appreciate that, and I'm really glad to see that at least some people are holding on to that.
yeah, for sure. Talking about revivals and old school things. Have you seen the trailer for the new It movie coming out in
Stephen
September?
King.
Yeah, Stephen King's.
No, I haven't seen the trailer. I saw the
Dude,
picture of the clown.
Yes.
and I'm very interested to see how this is going to go off.
Yeah, and I was actually going to see if you had gotten to see it, what your projection for that movie is going to be, because I've seen the trailer. You need to check it out because man, it's evidently they're going to make it like a two-part movie where the first movie that's coming out in September is going to basically just focus on the events for the kids, whereas
Right,
the Stephen King movie way back when kind of jumped around and was consolidated into one large
right.
film. But this is going to end up being, I think, some sort of like a split movie where one is about the kids and the next part's going to be when they grow up and stuff. So I have high expectations for it. So
I think with this movie in this modern day to hold people's attention, it's all going to revolve around the Pennywise character.
hmm
If he pulls it off as something that is just, I mean, scary. I don't know what
yeah,
else to say, but
yeah,
scary. If he comes off as really, truly scary, I think it'll be a hit.
yeah. Well, I'm definitely looking
But
forward to it. I think you should check that trailer out too, and maybe we can catch up another time and talk more about that. Last question that I've got for you, man. With everything going on and the new lineup for Sister Kill Cycle, you guys are, talking about hopefully, at least having a single or a video released later this year, and hopefully a new album to follow or thereabouts around. Any expectations for a tour to follow that in support of a new album release? I mean,
of course,
terrific,
we're already talking about that and looking into logistics.
terrific.
We have decided that we are going to go with the new management team
hmm
and working with them. We've already started discussing logistics about touring. Um, of course, we're going to do as many dates as we possibly can.
Yeah.
Probably won't do it like we've done in the past, where we've gone out for 6 months at a time. But we'll
hmm
probably do 2 to 3 weeks out and a couple weeks off, and then 2 to 3 weeks in another area, and then
Yeah.
we'll probably finish out the year like that.
Nice. That seems doable. That's exciting news. I think I know myself personally, and anybody else that's going to end up listening to this, your fan base and people around that have become familiar with you are definitely excited to hear that, and excited to hear about the new music, the new lineup, just the new Sister Kill cycle in general. Really excited about that. So
I hope so. We're excited. We're excited ourselves, and of course to go out. And there's so many new people that we would like to meet. It seems like our fan base is constantly evolving and growing.
nice.
So before you know it, that I have a whole slew of new people. And I man a lot of our social media sites. So I actually
hmm
take the time to talk to these people and respond to them. I don't hire somebody to do it for me.
Yeah,
So
sure.
it's really me. I probably shouldn't say that live on the air, but yes, it's really me that's responding to these people.
Well, that's great, man. That I think, and that means a lot to everybody out here to know that the band takes their fans as important as everything else, and that it means something to interact and have that sort of engagement, and super super cool of you guys, man. So
Well, we appreciate it, and we do. We appreciate our fans so much. I mean, so many of them have literally become lifelong friends and family that like yourself. I mean,
mm.
we will probably indefinitely be friends. So
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, this has been great. After meeting you guys a couple years ago when you came through Nashville, and having that interaction since then, and really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today, and answer some of our questions. And we're definitely looking forward to what the future of Sister Kill Cycle brings. So,
we appreciate it, man, and I appreciate it personally. You guys at the Metalhead Alliance is doing a great thing.
oh,
I keep seeing you guys growing, and very happy to be part of it.
well, that's great, man. Anything else you'd like to add? Do you have any shows coming up anytime soon that you want to put on here for people to know about?
Uh, we're playing this Saturday down here in Florida at Bombshells in Orlando, and then the 29th in Port Ritchie at Venom's Backroom Bar and Grill.
All right, Great.
Just kind of do some local shows and test the waters with these new members and some new material.
Terrific. So everybody that's listening now, be sure to check the description of the video for the links to the events where Sister Kill Cycle is playing over the next, I guess, for the rest of July and the next couple of weeks in July. And definitely check them out if they are playing in your area. You won't be disappointed. And stay tuned for more Sister Kill Cycle news as it comes up. We'll definitely be helping spread the word on that. And once again, everybody, you've been listening to Metalhead Alliance, and this has been Raven Chain from Sister Kill Cycle. Raven, we really appreciate your time, man. You have a great rest of your night.
Thanks, brother. You too, man.
All right, take care now.